Hi everyone, my name is Dan and I'm the founder of DiveByte. Before I continue, I just want to express how grateful I am that you're watching this video. I'd argue that time is one of, if not the most important resources available to us, so whether you watch for 10 seconds or 10 minutes, please accept my sincerest thanks. Now this video is going to be split into 3 sections. What is DiveByte, who am I, and how can you support? So, what is DiveByte? In simple terms, DiveByte is a content creation business primarily focused on the sport of scuba diving. I say primarily as whilst we will be producing scuba diving content in both live and edited forms, I want it to be so much more. To help explain this further, please allow me to share 5 parts of our business mission and how we aim to achieve them. So part 1, bring the wonders of our oceans to the world through digital pathways using live and edited video content. By live streaming scuba diving, we will bring the wonders of our ocean to the world. We'll then extract that content from the live streams to produce edited content which can be shared across social media to reach a wider audience. Part 2, create a vibrant community where people can share experiences, laughs, and loves. By creating content on a regular basis, in conjunction with fostering a welcoming and inviting environment, we'll build a community that everyone is proud of. Hey, by watching this video or any other content we produce, you've taken the first step in joining the community. So welcome. Part 3, showcase the scuba diving industry, diving skills, diving techniques, and the challenges associated with owning a dive shop. Through partnering with Dive Antilles and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we will showcase many aspects of the scuba diving industry. Streams showcasing diving skills or techniques and the challenges associated with owning a dive shop will further support achieving this mission. Imagine live streaming a peak performance buoyancy course, a rec course, or even an open water course. You can find more about Dive Antilles by checking out the link in the description below or going to diveantilles.com. Part 4, educate viewers on marine life and environments, including the need to ensure they are conserved and preserved. By utilising the knowledge that we've gained during our time spent around the marine environment, we'll share interesting facts about the marine life that we encounter. For example, did you know that parrotfish poop sand? To further strengthen this mission, we want to partner with marine biologists and conservation programs. Part 5, positively impact upon local people and businesses in the country we operate. We achieve this by hosting fundraising streams for local people establishments, like schools and local artists, and showcasing and promoting local people and businesses. Additionally, we aim to raise the global profile of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with the goal of attracting more tourism and investment in the country. Did you know that in 2024, St. Vincent recorded 101,417 overnight visitors? It's the first time it's ever reached the 100,000 mark. In comparison, the Bahamas welcomed a total of 11.22 million tourists in 2024. Now you know more about our business mission, allow me to share my history. My first job was as a matchday steward at Arsenal FC. As an Arsenal fan, this was a dream, even if it was in the away end. As a large young man who possessed no formal qualifications with minimal experience in the safety and security industry, I naturally got a job working at the London 2012 Olympics. Shortly after, I got my first full-time job working as a security officer. I spent the next 4 years in the role, but found it difficult to attain the recognition for the role I was performing. After all, I would travel to other cities to train people and conduct yearly reviews with co-workers and even participate in a meeting with a fire brigade. I became extremely disheartened with the corporate world and ended up becoming frustrated, upset, and at some points angry. As a young and fairly inexperienced person, I didn't know what to do. My hunger to progress and succeed was dying. As a result of my inexperience being combined with my dispirited feelings, my tardiness increased. My first interaction with HR ever came during an investigation held into me. I was working the lockup shift on Christmas Eve and left the building 20 or 30 minutes before my shift ended. When HR called me in to explain what had happened, all I could manage to say was no comment. I could have told them that the manager who was in the building with me told me to leave, but the overwhelming emotion I was trying to hide just meant I couldn't. After being told I was let go, I spent roughly the next 30 minutes sitting in the park just bawling my eyes out. The months that followed my termination were difficult and a bit depressive, but little did I know that so much pain would lead to an abundance of happiness and the realization of a dream. I don't know how long it would have taken me to get out of the hole I was in, but I do know my mother is the reason why I got out. One day she showed me a volunteering program with locations all over the world. One of their programs was marine conservation. You stay with a volunteer group where they would teach you to dive and then conduct surveys on the reef. We would also spend time with the local villages and schools teaching them about marine conservation. You see, I always loved the water. I'd always wanted to dive. And when I was 10, I wanted to be a marine biologist for a little bit. So it seemed like the perfect experience. I looked at the countries they operate in and eventually settled on a 2-month volunteering program in the Pacific nation of Fiji. To say I loved it is an understatement. I fell in love with the ocean world and the country. I enjoyed it so much that after a month, I decided to add an additional 6 months and complete my dive master internship. My favourite memory has to be the first encounter with a scalloped hammerhead shark. During the second half of my internship, I was placed at Corazon Dive in Savu Savu, Fiji. The jewel of the dive site crown was Dreamhouse. You'd head down to about 20 meters and then swim into the blue, searching for scalloped hammerhead sharks. So much so that the reef wouldn't be visible. One day we were doing a dive at Dreamhouse, and I was at the back of the group looking for hammerheads and keeping an eye on the guests. Then a memory popped into my mind. It was of the owner telling me that sometimes hammerheads think we are the school, so they swim up behind us and join us. Guessed it. I turned around and there it was. We locked eyes for what felt like an eternity, but in reality it was only about 5 seconds before it swam away after I tapped my tank to alert the guests to its presence. I mean, magical is an understatement. After Fiji, I headed back home for a little bit before heading off to Utila, Honduras to complete my instructor development course and internship with Utila Dive Center. Being able to learn from some of the most knowledgeable people in the dive industry at a well-known institution breathed a ton of life into me. So, for the second time, I extended again and stayed for an extra month to complete my international yacht training, 10-meter powerboat, and rib. Utila will always be special to me, not only for the time spent and people met, but also because this is where the foundational element of this business was born. I even pitched it to the course director at the time, but it was rightly dismissed as it wasn't ready in the slightest. A memory I hold dear involves 2 sisters who I assisted in teaching how to dive. The younger sister had always wanted to learn how to dive and loved the ocean. The older sister was energetic about learning how to dive, but was only doing so to support her sister. As we were moving through the stages of the course, the younger sister got an ear infection. Unfortunately, this prevented her from completing the course. As you can imagine, this was an incredibly emotional time, especially for someone who'd only ever wanted to learn how to dive. It's even something which could have killed the dream. We finished the course with the older sister and gave the younger sister the documentation which showed the stages it had been completed. This is important as it allowed her to pick up from where she left off at a later date. Probably wondering why this seemingly moment of negativity is a favourite memory of mine. Well, about 6 months later, I received a Facebook message from the younger sister, telling me that she had completed her course. What followed was a conversation of pure elation and excitement, and it made me realise that I was partly responsible, whether 1% or 10%, for helping her achieve that dream. After completing my IDC, I got a job in the Cayman Islands at Cayman Diving. As I envisioned, I loved every minute of it. Although we worked with primarily cruise ship customers, which limited the teaching opportunities, I love sharing my love of the underwater world with others. Whether it was snorkeling off the USS Kittiwake, guiding discovered scuba divers to shore to the wreck of the Cali, or guiding divers through the caverns and swim-throughs of the Devil's Grotto. I loved it all. Then came COVID. I remember on the Friday we were supposed to have 8 cruise ships in and got 6. Then Saturday we got 4, and finally Sunday none. It was on that Sunday that we were told by the owner that without the cruise ships he could no longer pay us all. We were all devastated, but spent the rest of the day together drinking, eating, and reminiscing about our time. Luckily, my family were visiting at the time, and I managed to grab a ticket on their return flight home before the flight stopped. Whilst my time in the Cayman Islands ended in sadness, one of my favourite memories occurred during a night dive on the wreck of the Cali. As we were preparing our gear, the lead instructor informed me that I'll be leading the dive. I was a little nervous, but super confident in my ability to pull it off. After all, the Cali was about 50 meters offshore, if that, in a straight line. It's simple, right? All I can say is that I definitely did not get lost. I definitely chose to take the scenic route via the local bar, and I definitely didn't need to surface to check where I should go. Anyone who claims otherwise does so in a defamatory and totally fictional manner. Oops. Whilst it wasn't ideal for me to be back in the UK, COVID would only last a couple of months, right? As we all know, wrong. After 6 months of waiting to return to the Cayman Islands, I began to think the pandemic wasn't going to be over as quickly as I thought. Because of this, I decided to look for a job in the UK and circle back to my original career in security. I found a job working as a security guard on a government contract. As the site wasn't operational yet, we attended various training sessions while waiting for employment to start. During these sessions, I was offered the opportunity to be a supervisor. This is the progression I had hungered for. I'd finally got my chance and took it with both hands. A month after the site was operational, I was given the opportunity to be the security manager. Again, I took it with both hands. I excelled in a role and after a year moved to the site's management company to become a duty operations manager. When the site was eventually closed, I moved into a deputy security manager role at a university where I was nominated for Employee of the Year and given awards by professional bodies and the police. I'd finally achieved what I was chasing all those years ago, what I hungered for. Yeah, I wasn't happy. Something in the back of my mind told me it was time to choose the future I want. So here I am. I'm choosing to dream. Now you know the business mission, and you know my background, you'll hopefully ask yourself how you can support. Well, this is how. Content creation is all about interaction. It's follows, views, likes, subscriptions. Best way you can help is by following our channels, viewing our content, liking our posts, sharing our content, and subscribing where you can. Even tuning into the stream whilst you complete other tasks is super helpful. You can find all of our links in the description below. In addition to the above, you can also support financially by subscribing through Twitch, which is free with Amazon Prime, and donating to the channel. We're currently trying to raise £25,000 so that we can purchase the required equipment and support the streaming business for a year. Eventually, I hope to cover the base operational costs and stream improvements through sponsorships. So if any companies out there want to speak to us regarding sponsorship opportunities, please reach out. To those of you who choose to support in whatever way you see fit, thank you. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you in chat soon. Goodbye for now.